All right, welcome back. In this episode, we are going to talk to my former client, Joella Skoogh, about subconscious blocks in entrepreneurship and essentially why entrepreneurs need this work to grow and scale to the next level in their businesses. Joella is, again, a former client, and we're currently also doing some work together inside her community, Industry Leader Lounge, with her clients as well, which she will talk about a little bit later. But Joella, I'm just going to turn it right over to you, and you can kind of introduce yourself, what you do, and what you're most passionate about as an entrepreneur, and then we'll kind of start diving into a conversation about the subconscious mind in entrepreneurship.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I'm a business mentor for premium coaches, consultants, and experts. So people that sell bigger premium packages and want to scale a high ticket business. That's what I do. I am a mentor for them, and we focus a lot on both the business model offer aspect of it, but also in terms of becoming an industry leader, stepping into the next level, authority, upgrading your identity. So there's a lot of aspects of building authority and becoming like a premium coach or consultant or expert, where 80% of it is like how you show up and how you feel and how you see yourself. So we focus a lot on the inner leadership aspect of it all, as well, and the strategy aspect, but not so much, it's not just writing the perfect content and attracting clients. It's about who you are. So that's what we focus on.
Love it. Amazing. And she's doing some amazing work in there as well. So let's dive right into it. So, my first question I wanted to talk to you about and have you share with the audience is what made you realize that you perhaps may need to do some deeper subconscious work? There's always a moment, right, where you're like, okay, what I'm doing isn't enough. I need to go a bit deeper. So, what was that moment for you that you felt intuitively that it's time for me to do some deeper subconscious work?
So I think what made me realize I needed to do that, looking back now, I'm thinking, I think it honestly was a place I was in where I was coming to a point when I had actually reached a big income goal.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that with reaching that income goal, a lot of hidden things started to come up that I had never experienced before, that I didn't even know I felt like.
Right.
And I'll share, like, honestly, I was even thinking of like, what if my friends don't like me anymore if I become
Mhm.
more successful? What if my clients can't relate to me anymore? Like, what if I grow beyond this level, and or this continues and I'm not relatable anymore, people don't like me? The thing is, it was so strange because I had never ever felt like that before. That those are not thoughts that I've ever had or thought that I had.
Right.
So it kind of gave me this insight of like, wow, the truly new level, new devil, like,
Mhm.
you get to a new level and you've never been there before, so you don't know what it's like until you're there. And realizing that was like, oh, there's so many hidden things that are coming up. And also I noticed myself like, you doing like some small things that were like subconscious, like self-sabotage things,
Right.
where forgetting to respond to leads, or like, kind of like, I mean, I'm quite self-aware, so I'm like checking myself, like, why am I doing this? Like, why am I
Yeah.
so, and understanding, like, I my subconscious mind like wants to keep me safe and on a lower level. It wants to keep me where I'm at, or maybe even lower. If I feel that fear on this level, maybe like it wants to take me down again. So I started like seeing that this was happening. Then when I started working on myself, going through that, I also noticed that's what was happening to my clients as well, and I was able to lead
Mhm.
them through those things as well. But I started talking to other entrepreneurs, and I kind of felt like oh, it's so interesting because nobody else is talking about this. But when you
Right.
talk amongst entrepreneurs with each other, and I mean like high level entrepreneurs that don't like struggle with sales, don't struggle to make money, because if you are at a point where you're just thinking like, I just need another client, I just need the next client, like that's like it's survival mode mindset. But
Right.
if you're higher level, you feel like outgrown that kind of mindset or survival, but also in your results, and you just know like I want to keep growing. I realize when you're in that level, those are the things that come up, but rarely people don't really talk about it. Like, people don't talk about those things that come
Hmm.
up. But I was talking to some peers about this, and like, oh, we have similar problems. There are similar things. So I think that's when I started to realize that like I'm at a good level, but if I want to continue, if I want to grow, if I want to expand, and also if I want to deal with the challenges that comes with growing and scaling a business, like, not just subconscious blocks popping up, but just, I don't know, dealing with problems. You can get more problems in a way, but if you don't
Right.
learn how to deal with them, you can self-sabotage your own business. So it's about strengthening myself, almost like prepping for going to war. That's kind of what
Right.
it is. Like, it's not like you're gonna go into war spontaneously. You're gonna prep yourself. So that was the mindset I had.
Right. And it's a really good mindset to have because you're spot on. If you're going into war, you would prepare for that. You would train, you would get ready in a really big and impactful way. And so for you, you describe the self awareness that you had around like, okay, I could just tell, I could just sense, I could just feel. But a lot of entrepreneurs, unfortunately, may not have that level of self awareness to notice there's these things coming up and this is off and this isn't right and I want to train for this. So if you could describe, how it feels like on a deeper level to have a subconscious block, what that felt like for you, that would be really, I think, helpful for people to hear because I think a lot of people don't understand what this work actually is, don't really understand what the subconscious is. It's still a very mystical topic for so many people. And I think what happens quite a bit is we're just in self sabotage. We're just doing things we don't know why we keep doing it over and over again, even though we want to be doing something different. And then you're just beating yourself up, like I just suck or I'm just lazy, I just procrastinate. But actually, you don't just suck and you're not just lazy and you're not just procrastinating. There's a deeper reason for it, that a subconscious block, right? And what that feels like, most people don't actually understand and can't quite figure out, right? Again, they just kind of start beating themselves up. And for you, you actually had the self awareness to understand, okay, like you didn't go into just I'm going to beat myself up mode and go into like all these self-negative belief systems. You sensed something intuitively is off and there's a question mark around it. So
I
if
think,
there's a go ahead.
yeah, very good question. Because I think what I see as well that I notice is like either you go into like beating yourself up about it, or it's like blaming something external. There's another reason why I'm dealing with these problems. It's all everyone else's fault. All the people are annoying, or like that's victim mindset. Like going into either blaming yourself or blaming someone else, that's surrendering to victimhood. That's kind of stepping into poor me, I suck,
Hmm.
or poor me, everyone else sucks.
Right.
And I think it's like a comfort blanket, and I don't know if I can relate really to that way of thinking.
Yeah.
I don't think that's in my nature, to be honest with you.
Hmm.
So I don't think that that's even in early on in my business. I don't think even from day one, I've never been in that kind of mindset. I'm very like independent person and responsible person. And I moved abroad when I was 19 years old to the US and lived there for several years. Like I've always been like self-sufficient. So I think I have this sense of like radical responsibility mindset of like I'm responsible for my happiness, I'm responsible for my results, I'm responsible for my life, I'm responsible for this and that. And when you take full responsibility, it's like easier to be more solution oriented
Right.
instead of boohoo poor me. I've always kind of been allergic to that kind of mindset, like the victim mindset. It bothers me quite a lot actually.
Yeah. Right.
Like that mindset, I can't really deal with people that are like that either. So I think it's like if you go into that emotional spiral, it's not very productive, and it's not necessary.
No.
It's kind of like that with everything in life in general, like any results, anything, like you can just take it as information and choose to be like, oh, that's interesting, like I should be working on this, I should deal with this, or that must be something subconscious that I don't know why, but like I'm curious. And I think I've always been very curious about myself and my own inner world since I was a child. So it's always been natural for me to like think about how to be and how to grow and how to improve myself and stuff like that.
Right.
So I think if you are like that, it's natural to like want to dive into your subconscious mind, because it's also like exciting to
Right.
see what you can discover and
Mhm.
overcome.
Right, absolutely. So you're saying like for you there were question marks there and you were like I would like and need the answers to some of these questions about myself because that's the
Yeah.
type of person you are. You just want to get to the root, want to get to the bottom of it and want to grow and evolve and you if I remember really wanted to scale into your next level when we first started working together. That was like one of the things that was really important to you was to reach your next level and to remove some of those
Yeah.
inner blocks that were getting in the way, which, if I remember correctly, you were somewhat self aware of what some of those things were,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You just wanted to get to the root of what they were on a deeper level, subconscious level, so that you could eliminate them
Yeah.
and get them out of the way. For some of the people out there who are not self aware like you, what's really important if you're listening to this is to recognize the parts of you where if you feel there's a question mark around something and you don't know why you're doing something the way you're doing it, you have to go seek out that answer, right? It's not enough to just say, I don't know why I'm like this. Oh, well. If there's a question mark around any pattern, behavior, or action you're taking or not taking, that's a question mark for you to go seek out answers to from within. There's always a root issue causing you to show up the way you do. And that's the subconscious mind because your subconscious is the blueprint of you and why you are the way you are. So,
Yeah.
what would you say, would be the top mindset blocks that you see? Because you work with many entrepreneurs, coaches, business owners. What would you say are the top mindset blocks that you're currently seeing in the clients that you're working with right now?
So I think a lot of it is connected to control one way or another. So it can be like a lot of people want to feel detached to the outcome. They
Right.
want to be able to combine their ambition and striving for big goals and sales and money without feeling like they need it, because like that desperate feeling is, it doesn't feel that good.
No, feels
And
terrible.
exactly. And it can
Yeah.
feel like you can lose a lot of inspiration from there. And then you like don't enjoy business anymore because everything is about the outcome and not the journey, as
Yeah.
cliche as that sounds. But again, the journey itself is like getting up in the morning, working. Like that's what we are actually doing. And if you're just doing it to that for the outcome, it can become quite meaningless. And you never really get to the outcome because usually it makes the outcome harder to get to. And you have to struggle more to get there.
Right.
Um, so I think the whole like letting go and detaching is very very difficult, and it's like easier said than done because people can hear someone else, my clients can hear me talk about that, but then they don't know how to do it. They don't know
Right.
like how do I detach, because I think that's like the hard one of the hardest things, like, how do you actually detach? How
Yeah.
um and I think that's one thing, I think that has a lot to do with like the subconscious mind.
Absolutely.
But I think also like this belief that you have to have this control of everything and do everything the right way and do everything that way and the strategic way, that is also connected to the same thing. It's really about control, because I think if you have control, maybe that's why you got to where you are, but that's not necessarily like going to get you to the next level. So that shift of like I got to here by pushing, working hard, controlling everything, being strategic, being systematic, like blah blah blah, and they kind of understand already my next level needs to, I need to let go of control. I need to maybe hire people, maybe I need to stop doing some things, maybe I need to
Right.
do something more courageous. Maybe I need to increase my prices, but it requires bigger moves from them.
Right.
And that's very hard because it's more risky compared to like continuing the exact same way. But that exact same way is what's keeping them stuck on the same level. So I think that's very common, I would say.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And you were spot on. Detachment is 100% linked to the subconscious because the way we are attached or detached, it's all programming. You either were raised and programmed to operate in the world and in business from a detached place of trust, or you were programmed to feel like you need to try to control everything to feel safe and to feel like you're getting results and to feel like things are moving forward. Right. So we receive that programming from very early years in our lives. And most entrepreneurs don't realize that they're taking that programming that they received as children and they're operating as that same wounded child today in their business in many, many ways. So we see that come up a lot in our work with entrepreneurs. So it's really important to notice where you're operating from old programming. So I'm curious for you, where you really noticed you were operating from old programming when you started doing this work. What were some of the biggest insights that you received, around some of the programming you had and things you really learned about yourself when you started diving into your subconscious?
For example, in our work specifically, I think every time like there were different things. So there were
Right.
small things that stopped me, even being stuck in a comparison trap, never having compared myself for my entire life ever before, like that not being a pattern. And then
Right.
suddenly that appearing. I mean, like, why is this here? It really bothers me. How do I overcome this kind of that thing? That's like one thing. But I also think that I can definitely relate to what I mentioned before, this sense of control freak thing, feeling like
Mhm.
I need control of everything. I don't know if I can let go. I don't know if I can surrender fully. I don't know if I can trust that if I follow my intuition fully, not just kind of, but like fully, I'm going to be fine. Or if I take a step back for a few months, that's okay,
Yeah.
and I don't have to go into action mode, because I think taking action and moving forward has always been easy for me. I've never like felt, during the entire years of my business, I've never felt stuck. Like I've always been moving, even when I haven't known fully what to do, I've always moved forward.
Mhm.
And then not doing that suddenly was scary and
Yeah.
strange, because I'm like, oh, but I'm a person who takes action, who launches, who sells, da, da, da. So kind of changing my own patterns that way, where deep down knowing maybe this is the better way of being and it's nicer to live that way, but
Yeah.
at the same time feeling like what's normal to me and what my programming and my patterns are, like taking action and being in control.
Right.
So how can I practice the opposite? So like I went on a long journey of like practicing surrender in general. I think also in the work with you, but also outside of it, in every single way. In my private life, in business, reading about it, how I chose to take action, what decisions I made. Like I started committing myself to that feeling, I
Mhm.
guess,
Yeah.
and started noticing what was happening because of it. Started noticing myself becoming more and more in touch with my intuition, and feeling myself becoming a little softer as a person, like, which
Yeah.
was very interesting. But like I definitely felt that shift
Yeah.
in myself, and shifting the type of clients I attracted, and how easy it started feeling for me to like take it easy,
Yeah.
relax, and like, kind of stuff like that. So that was a big thing for me, for
Yeah.
sure.
I remember the softening era. It's such great work. So what would you say, coming out of all of this reprogramming and softening and surrendering, what would you say was the biggest thing that you were, not even the biggest, but what were some of the things that you were able to accomplish and experience in your life and in your business once you completed and did some of this subconscious work that you weren't able to see or experience or accomplish before?
Well, I think one thing was like about a year later, I hit another income goal that was bigger than the old one. And my feelings around that income goal wasn't um, the same as the old one.
Mm.
I didn't feel any fears come up, but I also didn't feel a big attachment to it. I didn't feel like I need to reach that level again the next month exactly, or I'm so overjoyed that I reached this goal. I was kind of just enjoying the process and kind of feeling very focused and committed, but also detached
Yeah.
during that month. And I just noticed myself like, oh, I have the capacity now. I feel a different level of capacity for a different level of income because now it just kind of is natural to me. And like, it's not like I made that goal every month, but
Right.
like, it doesn't matter because I kind of felt like, oh, I have the capacity here. I'm not, there are no fears. There's no attachment either. I'm grateful, but I'm also like just moving on with my life as well. So that was a big difference I noticed. And another thing is like just in general, I'm very calm and my life is quite easy and peaceful. I don't know how to explain it, but I don't
Yeah.
feel like I have any problems. Of course, I do, but I don't feel like I do. I
Right.
don't feel like I'm thinking about problems. And even when they pop up, I feel like I can deal with them in a completely different
Right.
way. Even things like, if I have a conflict or something, maybe in the past that would be something I'm stressing about. But now I'm
Overthinking.
kind of,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And
Right.
now it's more like, all right, I'm dealing with it, that I'm moving on with my life and it didn't really affect my day. And before, maybe it would affect my whole week.
Right.
And which is just distracting and doesn't make you feel good. So, just in general, being very calm like, in my business, in my life, feeling like things are easy and not thinking like I feel like it's extremely normal to think more about the negative things in life and business. It's almost like when you ask clients to share a win, it's so hard for them to think about that. But if you ask them
Right.
their problems, it's so easy.
Right.
But
That's why I do that.
exactly, I know I do it too. But like I feel like I don't think about a normal business owner. I think about what to improve, but
Right.
I'm not like thinking about everything that's going wrong or everything that's not working. If I do, it's more like, oh, interesting. I wonder how we can improve that. I
Yeah.
wonder how I could do that better. And I'm always kind of thinking about like how can I make my own work more exciting and fun, the
Right.
process itself enjoyable, rather than how can I get to this number? How can I set this goal? And I was always like calculating things and instead now it's more like actually like I trust that whatever I launch, it's going to work. I know everything I sell will work, which it does. Not because I'm the best marketer. Sure, I'm a good marketer, but that's not why. It's because like I launch more from intuition and from a sense of like I'm very grounded in what I know I want to do and
Right.
what I want to offer. And it's not because I want the money to come in. Like it's not from like I want to sell so I can make money. That's
Right.
not from that place. So then because of that, like I know everything I sell is going to work.
Right.
And like because I also feel like so in touch with my intuition that it's very easy to make decisions, very easy to know what's right and wrong for me. And even when I have made the wrong move, I can look back and see like, yeah, I kind of knew that deep down already.
Right.
So the
Yeah.
intuition part is super key for me because that was also a big thing why I wanted to work with you is like if you're in touch with your subconscious mind, like it's easier for you to know intuitively what's right and wrong. You'll have that with you for the rest of your life. It's not just like
Right.
in a session, but it's like
Mhm.
20 years from now.
Right. It's a lifelong tool that you take with you
Yeah.
from learning how to tap into your subconscious. And the reason why that is because your subconscious is like your feeling brain, right? Obviously, your brain is your thinking mind, like your thinking brain, but your subconscious is where your emotions and your feelings and your intuition lives. And most entrepreneurs, most human beings are totally shut off from that part of them. So I'd also love to ask you, there are so many entrepreneurs and humans out there who really desperately need to do some subconscious work could really benefit from a tool like hypnotherapy. But when they hear the word hypnotherapy or they hear the word the subconscious mind, it's this elusive, mystical like question mark because there's not a lot of, it's not really mainstream quite yet, even
No,
though
no, it's
it's the
not.
most powerful mindset work out there, right? But a lot of people still don't know about it. So, an entrepreneur yourself, what do you wish more entrepreneurs knew about subconscious work and hypnotherapy
Yeah.
that you don't think they probably realize right now?
They think it's more weird than it is. Like
Yeah.
for me, I think of it like a deep guided meditation. And
Hmm.
I think meditation is a little bit more generalized now. Like, I think people understand meditation is a good thing. So
Hmm.
I think like hypnotherapy is a more deeper and guided, and it's like with a goal, kind
Yeah.
of,
Yep.
which should actually be more appealing to entrepreneurs because meditation can feel like I'm just supposed to sit here and not think about anything. While
Right.
hypnotherapy feels more like, okay, we have a focus here. Like, all right, you feel a comparison,
Yeah.
insecurity, whatever. Like, let's focus on that. And then we're focusing on that. And from like I told you this also, like there were some things that I felt like I overcame quicker than I've ever done in a coaching or like a normal coaching or a normal therapy kind of space. Because
Right.
so it was almost like, especially when it's something like specific, that's like
Yeah.
feels like a big thing, but really isn't, but it is in your brain.
Right.
Sometimes I feel like those things just became small and then I don't have to think about them anymore because I just overcame it. So then it's like,
Right.
okay, move on. So I think it's kind of the most, I would say it's like, of course, one of the most efficient tools. If you're an entrepreneur who's busy and actually want to do deep work, but also like want it to move fast, I guess I feel like
Right.
it does. Of course, no inner work is fast, like, of course, but I think sometimes it's very easy when you're an entrepreneur to think like, I need to talk to someone, or I need a strategy, or I need a plan, or I need to read a book or something, but it's still in your intellectual mind. And I think for me, yeah, I'm very naturally drawn to like want to do one-on-one coaching, talking, and want to do like it's natural because you're in your intellectual mind a lot, but actually like you need to get out of your intellectual mind because that's where you are at all day long with clients, with work, everything. So I think it's just kind of logical to want to dive deeper into your subconscious mind, which you rarely get a chance to do during the day, like
Yeah,
kind of like that.
it takes you into a deeper space that you don't, again, naturally get access to in your normal conscious waking state that you're in while you're doing all the things and wearing all the hats in business and in life, right? To actually unlock these deeper spaces within you that have this deep, profound wisdom. And like, as you talked a lot about intuition, right? And when we're
Yeah,
leading from intuition, you're always going to lead yourself down the correct path in all areas of your business and life. So
yeah,
it's really powerful work. And you've actually started incorporating this into your program, Industry
yes,
Leader Lounge, which I love because entrepreneurs, I believe wholeheartedly, really, really desperately need to be doing this work because you're putting yourself out there in such a big way. You're doing all the things, and a lot of money mindset blocks come up. There's always these endless things that can come up. And so I'd love to hear from you. How are you? Supporting your clients. Obviously, I know like I'm coming in and doing the work and doing sessions, but like what made this important for you to bring in with your clients and what are they experiencing as a result?
yeah. So when I created Industry Leader Lounge, I knew that I wanted it to be about like upgrading your entire identity and feeling like you are expanding into like the highest level version of yourself and as an entrepreneur. And then I was thinking about like, okay, what is needed from that? Because I'm very good at like pointing out the blind spots of my clients, even when they don't even say it to me. I can feel it, I can see it, I can read between the lines. I point out the blind spots. I'm very good at like mentoring them around that, challenging them. I can be a little bit like tough love sometimes, really pointing out what I see and what I hear in what they say to me. But I also knew that there's a subconscious aspect that is not my expertise, like
Right.
it's the part where they're not even aware themselves, so they can't even express that to me. And then I felt like that's like the perfect combination. So when I was thinking about this, it was like, oh, I need to take Gianna in the Celine Lounge because that combination is amazing. And I was genuinely thinking of like what would be the best for my clients in this space. What would be what will help them to transform.
Right,
And that's why I brought in hypnotherapy, because I feel like it's like a perfect addition to what I'm doing.
right. And once you can get all those blocks out of the way, you can accomplish so much more in your business, right?
Exactly. And things are faster because like imagine like thinking about like, oh, should I enter into this business partnership with this person or not? I don't know. And you're looking at the papers, you're reading everything. You're first of all, like you could spend 2 weeks wasting time thinking about it and wasting energy thinking about it. And then
Right,
maybe you're making the wrong choice because you're trying to make like an intellectual choice. But if you would dive deeper into yourself and like get in touch with your intuition, maybe you know deep down, like, no, this is not truly what I want. And then you don't have to waste all that time thinking. You don't have to waste money into that partnership or that energy.
stress,
But people,
anxiety, all of it.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Because a lot of entrepreneurs are making decisions and moves very much based on like fear or ego, like,
Mhm.
oh, that sounds so cool, but then deep down they don't really want to do it. And then you just create a lot of problems for yourself. And I
Right,
think like if you follow your intuition and you get in touch with your intuition, it's very easy to like naturally all like the people that are the wrong people, the right people, what to launch, what not to launch, the prices to set, like it's very easy because
right.
you start to trust yourself also in that, which is important.
Right. And I think you just nailed it when you just said like it makes business easier, right? When you can just operate from this place of self trust from within yourself, where you don't need to constantly ask other people for answers to the questions that you already have within yourself, right? So when you work with the subconscious, you're not only building your intuition and tapping into and strengthening your intuition, but you're also strengthening your self trust, which allows you to actually lead yourself and lead your business in a more effective way. Instead of having all those question marks and overthinking and comparison and analyzing and limiting beliefs, you're actually able to move forward in a way that is easeful and actually feels a little bit more flowy than forceful and resistance and tension and stress and anxiety.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's like, why waste time and energy on stressing over all of those things when you could just kind of work on yourself and get rid of them?
Right.
Like,
When you say it like that, it sounds so simple,
yeah,
right?
but it's true. And then you could focus on like enjoying your life and business and making money and selling and doing it from a place of abundance and fun instead of like worrying about everything.
Right. So if you want to run your business from a place of ease, flow, and abundance and fun, you need to get in deeper touch with your intuition and really build your self-trust so that you can start making decisions from this deeper subconscious place and move through your life and business in a way that is easeful and feels more fun. That's why you're in this, right? It is to enjoy your life, not to be stressed 24/7. So for our last question, I'd love to just hear more about what you're doing with Industry Leader Lounge and from like an inner work perspective and how people can get in touch with you or find you or follow you, etc.
Yes. So, yes, I created Industry Lounge for those like high level entrepreneurs who feel like they can't find a space that is for them, because I feel like there's so many group programs and spaces and communities targeted to people that are much more like on a basic level. So, Industry Lounge is definitely a great place for people that feel like I'm already on high level in my business. I want to be surrounded by other minded people that are like selected to be into this space. And I
Hmm.
want to expand myself with more deeper, high level conversations about entrepreneurship and identity upgrades. And that's a space like that I want to grow even more for the coming years and build that brand in itself, because I think a lot of high level entrepreneurs, especially when you get to higher level, you feel kind of alone also in that. Like,
Right.
you're like, oh, I have a good mindset. I make money. Like, I'm in a good level in my business. I'm not struggling with all the basic stuff anymore. I want more elevated conversations and experiences. And that's the space that I wanted to create. So you can follow me on Joella.Skoogh on Instagram. So my name. And I'm also on LinkedIn as well. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, I love how you just really quick talked about identity upgrades, because that's also what we're doing with subconscious work. We are not only rewiring, reprogramming, doing the healing, but you're upgrading your identity so that your subconscious is aligned with the identity that you actually want to become. And so it's really powerful work. And so check Joella out. Follow her on Instagram. Check out Industry Leader Lounge. I'm also hanging out in there once a month, leading hypnotherapy sessions with the clients. So we have lots of fun in there. And you can find her on Instagram and LinkedIn. And again, it was so great to have you on here today and chat with you. I feel like we could have talked about this for hours because there's literally so much to talk about when it comes to the subconscious. Perhaps we'll do this again sometime. But thank you so much, Joella, for being here with us,
Thank
and
you.
we'll talk soon.
Yes. Thank you.